Are you suddenly gaining body fat even though you feel like everything else has been the same, your workouts, your diet, everything? Watch this.
Our first caller is Amber from Tennessee.
Hey, Amber. How can we help you?
Hi. I'm really excited to be here. You guys, I'm in the process of doing MAPS Aesthetic, and I'm on week 10. It's the first program that I've actually gone the whole way through, and I've been super pleased with the program as a whole. I feel like I'm making a lot more progress with this than I have with other ones. So the first couple of phases of it, I did really well. I saw progress. I was doing body scans. My body fat percentage was going down. Lean body mass was going up. Definitely felt like I was building more muscle. But as soon as I hit the superset part, everything changed. My body fat percentage went up higher. And I know supersets work differently. I don't know if that's normal. I don't feel like I've changed anything, but I definitely want to make sure that I'm continuing progress, doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I just wanted to see, like, does that sound right?
Yeah. Okay. So let me ask you a few questions just so I can better answer, what you're asking, Amber. How many grams of proteins, fats, and carbohydrates are you eating, and how many total calories you're eating in both phase 1, 2, and now 3?
Okay, so I've been eating relatively the same form of meal. Calorie intake is a little different with me than it probably is with other folks that have a history of disordered eating.
Okay.
So tracking calories is a little bit different for me personally.
Okay.
I definitely make sure that I hit a certain amount of protein, but as far as actually tracking calories, that's not something that I do anymore.
Yeah, no problem. And I wouldn't recommend you track now that I know that. But the reason why I asked that is because oftentimes, now there's two things that could be happening. So we'll start with the first one. Oftentimes when I have a client come to me and say, hey, I don't know what's happened. Everything's the same, but I'm gaining body fat. That means nothing. It's not the same. There's something has changed, and it's usually their food intake. And it can be small changes that people look, if you ask me to estimate and I'm pretty aware, if you ask me to estimate my calories, proteins, fats, and carbs, I'll get close, but I guarantee I'll be off by 25% at least, at the very least. So that's one. Or the second one is this. It can be that the supersets just overtrain you. They're just too intense. It's too much. And when that happens, one of the side effects of that, especially in women, can be water retention. Water retention can be a side effect of too much stress on the body, and you tend to hold a little water, and it can make you feel a little bit fluffier.
She's getting DEXA scans though, she said.
Yeah.
So it's body fat percent.
Yeah, but okay, I know they say it's super accurate and this and that, but look, here's the deal. It can be that. It can be that you're gaining body fat from overtraining as well. You could be. So the point still stands. It's one or the other. It's either you're not as exact as you think you are, or it's too much intensity for you.
It's very unlikely due to the supersets. Very, very unlikely.
Right. I would agree with you.
Especially since she's tracking body fat and her body fat percentage has actually gone up.
Do you know how much did it go up?
Yeah. How much did it go up?
So when you said water retention, I looked at it. I've got them right in front of me when I looked at it, and they've gone up. Like the total body water percentage has gone up. And I will tell you, like, supersets, I'm sure, have a great place in the world of fitness. They super suck. They're so hard for me because I'm pushing myself as hard as I can, but they make me way more tired than I am or than I was even in the first couple of phases.
Well, we just answered a question earlier today this could also pertain to this. One of the mistakes that people make when they go into phase 2 of performance or they go into supersets is they try and carry the same mentality that they were training when they were training strength training, like phase 1 of one of our programs, which is trying to lift as much as you can. So they go, okay, I'm gonna try and lift as much as I can, and now I'm supersetting. It's no, different adaptation we're focusing on. We're looking for the pump and hypertrophy. So my recommendation there would be to dramatically reduce the weight. Which will make the intensity go down. Yes. So it'll which will dramatically bring the intensity down and not make you feel that way. And you'll then get the benefits of the pump and what we're really trying to chase after in that phase. So that's addressing that. But I want to address more of the body fat percentage of what's going on right now, because the likelihood that it has anything to do with you doing the supersets is very, very unlikely. And it's more likely of something as simple as this is easily in phase 1, and I'm just going to throw numbers out that are probably way off from where you're at, but just to make my point. Phase 1, when we first started training together, you were averaging 8,000 steps a day and burning roughly, 2,500 calories, and you were eating right around there. You simply could be in phase 3 and now only averaging 7,500 steps a day and the body only burning 2,300 calories a day. And you're maybe eating 100 or 200 more calories than what you were, which is so insignificant and hard to pay attention to and tell. And that is enough for that to happen. It could literally be that right there. And so the two things that would be my recommendation after hearing this: one, do what I said with the weights, dramatically reduce the weights. Think less about pushing your body and trying to be strong on this phase, and think more about pumping blood into the muscles, feeling the muscles, and getting that out of the workout versus like really pushing the weight. Okay, so that focus there. And then the other thing I'd say is cut back a little bit somewhere on the calories, just a little bit. And you don't need to actually, again, track and weigh or measure, just something. If you eat very similar foods, whether that be rice with your meat or something like that, and I would choose to go from like a carbohydrate and just reduce the serving size a little bit. Even just eyeballing, say, hey, you know what? I always eat this meal and it typically looks like this. I'm going to look at the carbohydrate and I'm just going to reduce it a tiny bit and be consistent with that for a while, and then see what happens with your body.
How much did the body fat go up percentage-wise on the DEXA scan, by the way?
My body fat percentage from phase 2 to phase 3 went up like 3%.
Okay. So 3% is within the margin of error also. But okay. I need more. I need more information too. You said you were getting stronger in phase 1 and phase 2, right? You felt like you felt good.
And I definitely have been seeing more muscle definition. And when I say muscle definition, I mean like in the bathroom with the lights off, I'm like, hey, I have abs, right?
Yeah.
I'm starting to see that. But ultimately, that's what I would love to do is drop my body fat percentage, because I want to have more muscle definition.
Yeah. Okay. So are you feeling fried and tired? Are you getting any joint aches and pains, anything like that?
I'm not getting joint aches and pains, but definitely in the supersets. I mean, I for sure have been pushing myself as heavy as I can lift on supersets. Yeah. So that was definitely a good call out first off. Mm-hmm. But the second thing is as far as tiredness, when I get done, I feel wiped. And I worked out at 4:00 this morning and it's 1:00 my time right now. And I still feel just tired.
Yeah. Adam hit the nail on the head. You got to drop your weight, and the intensity is too high. Drop the weight on everything. You should not feel dead after any workout. You should feel good. I don't care what phase you're in. You should feel good afterwards. So if it feels like too much, it's definitely too much. I would go way back.
Dramatically reduce the weight too.
Yeah.
Whatever you're thinking, go even lower for the superset, and because you can always go up, right? So go really, really light and just test one workout for me where you're like, this is so light, but that's okay. Adam's saying all I'm supposed to be doing is and think more about pumping blood into that muscle and feeling the muscle and being able to complete the reps. You definitely do not want to have a weight on there where you're like, shit, I can't even get to the reps I'm supposed to. That's way too heavy.
Yeah.
So go the way opposite end of the spectrum, see how you feel, go even lighter than what you think, and then slowly try and increase the weights over time, but start really, really low. And I think that already will start to make you feel better for the workouts.
Yeah, I agree. Give that a try.
And then the leaning out part, two things that we could do, since, again, I wouldn't want you really getting obsessed about food and macros and calories and stuff, is like I said, is maybe scale back a little bit on the portions with the carbohydrates, just eyeballing it. Just what you probably scoop and eat or do. Yeah. Just go a little bit less than that. And then the other option, and you could do both of them, is pick up walking. Walk, make it a goal to, after every meal, go for a nice 10-minute walk or something. Just add a little bit more walking into your day. And see what the combination of cutting back a little bit on the carbohydrates, walking a little more, reducing the intensity on the supersets, and I bet you're going to see some positive things from that.
One of the side effects of overtraining is, Amber, increased cravings and appetite. So it's very natural for somebody who's pushing their body too hard without realizing it to add an extra couple hundred calories, which spread out throughout the day, 200 calories, you wouldn't even notice unless you were weighing everything, which I don't think you should do. I definitely don't think you should do that. So that's probably what we're looking at. So I think just reducing the intensity I think you'll start to see your body move back in that positive direction.
And also keep in mind one more thing you said that I think is important, and Sal kind of touched on it, and I just want to piggyback off of it, is that these things do have room for error, and there is a very good chance too that you're about the same. You haven't really gone up in body fat percentage, or maybe you even went down a tiny bit and you just didn't see that on the DEXA scan. And because you're saying things like you notice you're building muscle, you feel like you're looking better. So a lot of times with a client of mine, that's one of the things I don't like about body fat testing all the time, is that sometimes with that little bit of room for error,
It messes with your head.
yeah, it can mess with the psychology. You could actually be doing really well. I mean, if you are, and if you were a client of mine and you gave me that feedback, like, hey, Adam, I'm starting to notice my shoulders coming out a little bit, and I saw an ab yesterday, and like, if you're giving me that feedback, and then I'm also getting this on the DEXA scan, I'm actually not going to worry too much about the DEXA scan. I might go, you know what, let's wait till we DEXA scan again in another 4 weeks, and then what that report tells me, if it's continuing to go that direction, I'm a little worried. Like if it goes up now 4 or 5%, like then I might be adjusting things. But what might happen is the next DEXA scan you see great results.
Yeah, but the advice that we gave you, I want you to take that, because you're saying you feel like crap afterwards. You're doing too much. That's a fact, 100%. You should not feel that way after a workout.
Yeah, she already knew that, right? She said that was right away.
That feels super helpful to me, like dropping the weight, because that's definitely not something that was on my radar for sure.
Yeah,
totally.
You got it, Amber. Appreciate you calling in.
Yeah, quick. One more thing before you guys jump off is, would you guys recommend just trying to go back through the supersets again, or start from the beginning of the program? Like at this point, because I'm at the end.
Oh, man.
So should I like redo this phase, or like at this point, just knowing what you know at this point?
No, I think you should do a new program. I think you should do either MAPS Anabolic or MAPS Performance.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you have either one of those?
I don't.
All right. I'll send those to you.
Okay, keep in mind though, because we just answered this question for somebody in MAPS Performance, this exact point. So when you get to the phase 2 of that, people get hella gassed. And again, so just remember that when we move you in phases, there are phases, and it's only almost always phase 1 of our programs. Your goal is to push the weight. So your mindset is right for phase 1. But when you move into phase 2 and phase 3, the mindset needs to shift. It's okay to let go of the weights not being really heavy, because it's a new adaptation and focus. And then when you get back to phase 1 again, you get to push the weights again. And that's, your body will respond better than that versus always coming to every phase with this mindset of, I want to lift as much weight as I can in this phase. No, that's not the focus now. Now the focus is form and technique, or now the focus is getting the pump. So that really matters as you approach every program that we write. As you change phases, mindsets should change also.
Awesome.
Cool.
Thank you guys so much. That's super helpful.
You got it, Amber. Thank you. I never heard of anybody refer to supersets as super sucks.
Super sucks.
Did she say that?
Yeah, she did. She's like, but they super suck. Well, they kind of do.
Courtney
super
hates
suck.
it too, but like, and too, I didn't really jump into this because it's kind of nuanced, but like in terms of like energy and like your intake before workouts, like she had to adjust a bit and make sure that she got a little bit more calories, a little bit more carbs, like an hour beforehand, just to like, so supersets really would tax her as well.
and the reason why 100%, I mean, that's a very good point. When you're doing that kind of workout, what you eat before makes more of a difference than if you're doing just like a pure strength workout. But yeah, I mean, that's why I asked her if she was tracking.
Weights was on point though.
Yeah, 9 out of 10 times when someone's like, everything is the same, it's not the same.
No,
yeah.
Everything is not the same.
No.
And 200 calories a day
easily.
That's easy,
Easily.
and that's so easy to add up.
And the step thing I said, that's why I brought the whole steps thing as just for, obviously the numbers are probably way off, but the analogy of like, people don't even realize it. You could easily fluctuate a few thousand steps in a day is not that dramatic, but it adds up over time.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if you're getting a little bit more calories, stepping a little bit less, we could see that difference.
I mean, you could literally be making your salad with an extra, let's say you eat 2 salads a day and you put an extra half a tablespoon in each one. There's 100 something calories right
You
there.
just put nuts on top,
That's
a whole
it.
Another monster.